Hi, it's me, your boyfriend slash girlfriend slash day friends, favorite content creator. And yes, it is still Women's Month, so good day to you women, especially you, Gertrude. Anyways, I guess my light didn't like my little joke. Gertrude's not a name, I don't think. Leave a comment if you know a Gertrude. Anyways, we are within the opening release window for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, if you haven't heard of that game, totally understandable. It's a small indie game being developed by a small publisher called Ubisoft. And since the inception of the game, rather, since the announcement of the game and who's in the game, people have been very weird about the game. And by weird, I mean blatantly racist to the point where I have made way more videos on this subject matter than I thought I would ever have to. But given the state of this country and really the world, why am I surprised? But as we get closer to the release date, which is March 20th, which as of this recording is in 3 days, I came across some news in regards to what Ubisoft's planning to do. And I think it's really good, and I think other companies should take a page out of their playbook. Now, like I said before, there has been a lot of racism surrounding this game. Like, almost exclusively has this game been about racism because of the introduction of Yasuke, who, as I've mentioned time and time again, was not only a real historical figure in Japan during the Sengoku era, but as a media icon has already been in Japanese media for decades. In fact, he was in both the Neo 1 and Neo 2. His armor was referenced in Rise of Ronin, and Yasuke was in Samurai Warriors 5. Plus, there have been characters inspired by him, such as in Guilty Gear, there is Nagura Yuki, who's definitely Yasuke, right? He has influence in media in Japan, real person, yada, yada, yada. But that hasn't stopped people, especially these grifters, from really honing in on this to the point where Ubisoft has decided if you harass the developers, there's a high chance you'll be getting a call from their lawyers. And I already know there are people who are going to try to take this and be like, oh my God, bunch of babies, they can't handle criticism. No. Let's be completely transparent here. Gamers, capital G gamers, do not do criticism, do not critique. If you don't believe me, look at any quote unquote games critic on YouTube who espouses anti-woke bullshit. They do not critique. They complain, they demean, they harass. Criticism implies that there is something to improve upon. Telling someone to like delete their channel, or they're bad, they're awful, and they're terrible, and they work for a woke company, and that's why they should fail, and I'm going to be happy when you fail, does not meet the bar for criticism. These people do not critique. So Ubisoft is trying to protect the developers, which every company should be doing, because they know that these people will send out death threats to them. In fact, there was a tweet I saw today from a person who worked on Assassin's Creed. I believe it was Unity. If not, you'll see it on the screen right now. And they were talking about how they were sending death threats because the roofs were blue, and that was not historically accurate. Once again, being sent death threats over the color of roofs. That is insane. And it's that sort of insanity that not only have developers from Ubisoft been going through, but really pretty much any developer who's ever been on the internet and has had the unfortunate mispleasure of engaging one of these capital G gamers whose knowledge of games starts and ends with some other YouTuber's opinion. The irony of me saying that, as I am a YouTuber who often gives his opinion, but I feel like you guys know my opinions are much better than theirs and much better sourced and, have facts to support them. But we have seen this over the unfortunate years where game developers have been continuously harassed from gamers. not just game developers, right? Games journalists, people in the gaming media, anyone who isn't a right-wing gamer has been harassed by gamers, because gamers, like I've stated in many videos, are weird little soft babies who cannot take criticism or change or adapt or anything, which is ironic considering the fact that most of the games they play require them to be able to change and adapt to evolving situations, right? But I guess those skills hadn't generalized. I didn't think I would be big upping Ubisoft, mostly because I disagree with a lot of their practices, including their game design choices and their microtransactions. But I can give people credit where credit is due. So good job, Ubisoft, for attempting to protect your employees. Don't know how that pan out. You don't have the best track history when it comes to protecting employees, but I can't hate someone trying something different in order to have a more positive outcome. But to everyone else, I say this. It is sad that a company has to do this. It is beyond sad that we as a community are sending death threats to people over video games. No matter how much you love games, how important games are to you. They're important to me. I'm 35 years old. I have a gaming culture channel, whatever you want to call it. I love video games. I constantly play video games. I was just, in fact, before I recorded this, I was playing Death Must Die. It's like an indie roguelike, kind of like Vampire Survivors game, right? I love video games, but holy shit, is this not real life? The games aren't a real life, okay? But the people who make it, the people who are creating these games are real people. There are real people behind the screens. So when you get so mad that your favorite game character has been changed because you went to one of those weird woke detector game list or whatever, they told you that this character originally in the earlier drafts was supposed to be white and they ended up being Hispanic, and now you're mad about that. You want to send a death threat to somebody. I want you to stop, breathe, go outside, touch grass, etc., etc., because it's never that serious. The fact that game companies are going to put lawyers on retainer now to prevent people from harassing the developers is a bad thing. We should have never gotten to this point. And like I've said before in other videos, I know we have lost our empathy. I understand that. I don't like it, but I know that we have. And we need to get that back. I hope you guys hear what I'm saying anytime I make videos like this, where I'm talking to you about the fact that like there was a game that didn't sell too well, so someone sent a death threat to someone. Or if you remember what happened with the, I believe it was the Destiny community, where a guy was harassing a community manager and actually got sued for harassment. Why are we harassing people? What do you think is going to happen? This person makes a video game and you don't like it, so you want them to what? Never make a game ever again? That's stupid. You should want them to get better. That does not create an environment where things get better. You want to have more interactions with game developers. You want more transparency. That's not how you get it, right? If anything, that's going to make them want to shut down even more so. I truly hope this precedence is set and that other game companies follow through, so that gamers will start to realize that the world does not revolve around them, and they can't just start sending death threats to people because their favorite game is not the game they played when they were 5 years old. All right? That's my ultimate goal. I want you guys to understand that things change and that's fine, but sending death threats to people is never okay. So again, good job, Ubisoft.